Hola chiquitos, it's Senora. Today we are going to learn about something called direct objects. Now, we've already done indirect objects, and I think a lot of this will seem similar. So, this is actually direct objects. But before we get to what a direct object is, let's look at the crumbly situation for Cookie Monster. So, Cookie Monster says, I want the cookie. Darth wants the cookie too. Do you want the cookie? Does John Cena want the cookie? Who wants the cookie? Where is the cookie? Now, Cookie Monster could be a little more efficient in his language by taking out a word that he continually repeats. So, what word could he take out? If you said the cookie, you are correct. I want the cookie. We know that he's talking about the cookie in the next 5 sentences. So you can take out the cookie and replace it with a pronoun. What could you put in its place? If you said it, then you're correct. I want the cookie. Darth wants it too. Do you want it? Does John Cena want it? Who wants it? Where is it? So direct objects are useful. We use them all the time and don't really even know we're using them. So how do you find the direct object in a sentence? Well, we ask 2 questions, just like we did with indirect objects, but the questions are different now. The questions are what and who. So with indirect objects, they were to or for whom. So now we're asking what or who. So it can be a thing or a person. So let's look at number 1. We want to find the direct object in the sentence. Chewy and Hans want ice cream when it's hot outside. So step number 1, find the verb. If you said want, that's correct. Then we ask our 2 questions. Want what? Want who? What do they want? They want ice cream. They want ice cream. So ice cream is your direct object. Number 2, we saw the girls after school at Sheets. Find your verb. Saw is your verb. And we say saw what? Saw who? If you answered the girls, that's correct. That's your direct object, the girls. Number 3, Yoda needs to buy the root leaf soup for dinner. What's your verb? Needs to buy. Ask your questions. Needs to buy what? Needs to buy who? Needs to buy the root leaf soup. The root leaf soup, that whole thing, is the direct object because it answers what? You try 4, 5, and 6. Put me on pause, find the verb, ask your 2 questions, and the answer will be your direct object. Okay, so hopefully you put me on pause. Look at number 4. Does Sanchez want to build a giant snow chicken? What's the verb? Want to build. Want to build what? Want to build who? The answer is a giant snow chicken. So a giant snow chicken, the whole thing, is your direct object. She looked for her skates because we are going to the ice rink today. Your verb is looked for. Looked for what? Looked for who? Well, her skates. So the answer to what she looked for her skates. So her skates is the direct object. Look at number 6. Wow, we really missed you today. Our verb is missed. Missed what? Missed who? The answer is you. We missed you. You are the direct object. Okay, so now that we know how to find the direct object in a sentence, what's the big deal? Well, it becomes a big deal when you need to use one of those pronouns, one of those smaller words that replaces it. Let's look at this. I need the pencil. You can simply write, yo necesito el lápiz. But let's say I don't want to say el lápiz a bunch of times and I want to say I need it. Then I'm going to need one of my pronouns. She bought the pizzas from Domino's. You can write, ella compró Las pizzas de Domino's. That's fine, just write the words. But the issue comes in when we want to replace pizzas with them. You don't want to say pizzas all the time. Maybe you just want to say, yeah, she bought them from Domino's. So we need a word for them. They saw Baby at the mall. You can say, ellos vieron a Baby en el centro comercial. But if you don't want to say baby, then you have to say him or her or whatever the gender of baby is. So we need a word for that. Same with me. They did not see me. I can't use yo. No. I can't use me. That's my. So I have to use a pronoun for me. Here are my direct object pronouns. They're probably going to look at least 50% familiar because they're just like the indirect object ones. So if you want to say me, you use me. If you want to say you use te. Here's where it's different. Him or it masculine, like let's say lapis, that would be lo. Her or something feminine like blusa, it, feminine, would be la. Us is nos. Yins is still os. And then the plural them could either be los or las, depending if it's masculine or feminine. So watch this. I need a book. Necesito un libro. Totally fine to write it like that. But if you want to say, I buy it tomorrow. So we need a word for it. We see libro and we're like, okay, so here are my its. It's masculine because it's libro. And then just like your indirect object, guys, you put it in front of the verb. Yo lo compro mañana. I buy it tomorrow. And even with the no, it stays right in front of the verb. I don't buy it today. So we see a lot of similarities between indirect objects and direct objects. We see that these guys are the same. We see that we still stick it in front of the verb. The only thing that's different are the questions. We're asking what and who now, and the lo, la, los, and las. Let's do a little practice. So we'll do the first one together, and then let's see if you can do the other ones so that you can find the direct object and replace it with a pronoun. So look at the first one. I need a jacket for winter. So I need to find my direct object. Find the verb, need, ask my two questions. Need what? Need who? A jacket. So a jacket is going to be my direct object. Now, if I want to replace jacket with it, which of my direct object pronouns am I going to use? Me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, or las? Well, jacket is singular and it's an it. So I'm going to pick either lo or la. And if I remember correctly, jacket is chaqueta. So I'm going to pick la. That's all I want you to do for these. I just want you to find the direct object and then decide which pronoun you would use to replace it. Put me on pause. Okay, so if you're having trouble with this, please feel free to just remind text me or email me and, I will help you. But this is what the answers are. So, there it goes. So you can see the book. She has to find what, who, the book, and if you want to replace it with an it would be lo. Can you give me some pencils? Now remember, sometimes that'll be here. Give what? Give who? Not to whom, give who. So that doesn't answer your question. What are you giving? You're giving some pencils. That's your direct object, some pencils. Give what? Some pencils. So if I want to say give them, then you're going to use los. Senora loves us a lot. Loves what? Loves who? Yep, us. So here you can use nos. Her mom buys her apples. Again, be really careful because indirect objects are floating around. Buys what? Buys who? Well, she buys apples. That's your direct object. For her, that's not your that's an indirect object. So buys what? Apples. Manzanas. So you'd use las. I see you at lunch every day. See what? See who? You. So you are my indirect object, and my direct object pronoun is te. Okay, so far we learned how to find the direct object in a sentence. We ask who or what, and we found how to replace it with a pronoun. We use me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, or las. Now let's stick it in the sentence. Where are we going to stick it? Well, if you remember with our indirect objects, where did we put it? Yep, right before the verb. So we paint it. So I give you these little like kind of clues right here to show you what it is. So when you go to write your answer, write your sentence, you go, okay, nosotros. You can even do the verb, and then you get to it and you're like, oh, I got to put it in front. So I'm going to use la casa, so I'm going to use la. Nosotros la pintamos. We paint it. Lucia ate them. Oh, she ate the plátanos. So this is in the past tense. That's okay, because you guys are predator ninjas. Lucia comió. Let me put on my little accent. Now, them is going to refer to plátanos. So it's either going to be a los or a las. I see my ending, so I'm going to choose los and put it in front. You try the last two. This is present. This is past. Let's see what you got. Put me on pause. I wear them, and there's zapatos. So yo, llevo, and then I get to them, and I'm like, okay, it's zapatos. So it's going to be los or las is for them. I see the os, so I'm going to go with los and put it in front. And then I wore them. Well, oops, sorry. Yo llevé. Them this time refers to botas, so it's feminine and plural. So either los or las, but since it's feminine, I use las and I put it in front. Okay, just some more practice because, if you're paying attention and you're doing the practice, this is just like in class. Read the sentence. You're going to get to the direct object pronoun, and let's see if you can translate for it. So put me on pause and grab your paper and your Super Sharp Ninja Lapis and see if you can translate these sentences. Okay, so here we go. Esteban bought the socks. He bought them last week. My mom prepares the dinner every day, but my dad prepared it, referring to cena, last night. My grandparents visited me last Sunday. Whoopsie. And Maximo and Dante played hockey. They played it, referring to hockey, yesterday. So you can see here again how I set it up and how I pick my pronoun. Okay, you can do it. I'm going to have you try these 4 on your own. So it seems really difficult, but what you're going to do is read the sentence. We studied the vocabulary. Find the direct object. Studied what? Studied who? The vocabulary. That's your direct object. Then I want you to replace the direct object with a pronoun. So you're saying, we studied it. Okay, so take that direct object and turn it into a pronoun. So if you are having a little bit of trouble, remember, it is going to refer to vocabulario. Then you're going to pick your pronoun for it and put it in front. So put me on pause. Okay, check your answers. We studied it. I ate them. She bought it, and you wore them.